Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to unpack the invisible mechanics behind your daily web searches. You know, we do it literally dozens of times a day. We type a few words, hit enter, and bam, we instantly get millions of results. But have you ever actually paused to think about how the system knows exactly what we want to see first?
To really understand this, I want you to picture the absolute chaos of the early internet. Just millions upon millions of pages floating around in cyberspace with no real order, no Dewey Decimal System, and absolutely no librarian around to guide you. Without a system to organize all of that, how could we ever find the most important information first? Like, how do search engines actually decide who gets that highly coveted top spot on page 1? Well, it all comes down to a very clever, mathematically driven system.
So, here's our roadmap for today. 1. What is PageRank? 2. The power of link quality. 3. Sharing link value. 4. The random surfer model. And 5. Beyond just PageRank.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1. What is PageRank? Estimating importance.
At its core, PageRank is an algorithm used to estimate the importance of web pages based on the links between them. It's literally the foundational concept of how the modern internet organizes information and makes sense of all that digital noise. But hey, don't think of this just as dry, complex math. It's essentially the ultimate solution for finding out who the most popular kid in school is. I mean, if everyone in the hallways is talking about someone and pointing to them, that person must be pretty important, right? On the internet, a link is essentially a digital vote of popularity. A web page is fundamentally considered more important if other important web pages are linking to it.
Just imagine a vast web of nodes and connections. Every single circle is a web page, and the arrows are the links between them. If you picture a massive central hub in this web, it's huge not just because of the sheer volume of links it has, but because of the overarching structure of those links. If other highly important pages are pointing directly to it, its own importance just swells up. It's a network effect in pure visual form.
To really grasp the mechanics here, we have to distinguish between inbound and outbound links. An inbound link is an arrow pointing towards your site. It's a link coming into a web page from somewhere else. An outbound link, on the other hand, points away. It goes from your web page out to another destination. In the PageRank economy, those inbound links, those are the precious digital votes coming your way.
Moving on to Section 2, the power of link quality. Because, spoiler alert, not all links are equal.
On the internet, it's basically an elite popularity contest. Imagine you have a web page, let's call it Page A, and it gets a link from the BBC, a verified government website, or a prestigious university. Those are absolute heavy hitters. Now contrast that with Page B, whose only link is from a small, completely unknown blog. Maybe, someone's pet ferret diary. Who wins this contest? Page A, absolutely. Link quality and the authority of the source matter the most. A link from a highly trusted, important page passes on significantly more value than a link from a low-ranking, unimportant page.
Okay, Section 3. Sharing link value. Let's look at diluting authority.
Now we need to see how this link authority is actually shared. 50. Just think about that number for a second. What happens if that highly authoritative BBC homepage we just talked about decides to share its rank with 50 different outbound links instead of just 1 or 2? Does every single one of those 50 sites get the full, massive boost of the BBC's authority? No way.
If a page links to a ton of other pages, its PageRank value gets divided and diluted. For instance, if a page with a PageRank value of 10 links to just 2 pages, they get roughly 5 points each. But if that same exact page links to 50 different pages, the authority is heavily diluted. Each link receives much less value. So fewer outgoing links from a source actually mean each individual link receives way more value. A page that links to many other pages passes less PageRank value through each individual link.
Which brings us to Section 4, the random surfer model. Time to humanize the algorithm.
Websites are built for human beings, right? So we have to humanize the math and look at how actual user behavior impacts these mathematical scores. The core of this model is represented by a very specific decibel, 0.85. And this isn't just an arbitrary number chosen by some computer scientist. It represents a very recognizable human tendency when we sit down and browse the web. This 0.85 is what's known as the damping factor. Basically, it represents the 85% probability that a user just keeps clicking links on a web page instead of stopping or typing a completely new URL. And the other 15%? Well, that's the chance they get bored, close the tab, or go grab a snack.
Factoring in this human element makes the ranking model incredibly realistic, because it calculates how likely someone is to actually keep following a natural trail of links.
So imagine our random surfer just clicking from page to page. Pages that are deeply embedded in a strong network of useful links are far more likely to be reached by someone just naturally clicking around. The algorithm gets that if a surfer is likely to arrive at a destination just by following natural paths, that page has got to be inherently important. The easier a page is to reach, the higher its rank.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Beyond Just PageRank, the big picture context.
Now, if you ever face this in an exam setting, it is absolutely crucial to avoid a very common misconception. A weak, incorrect answer assumes PageRank ranks pages by how many people visit them. Actually, scratch that, it is completely false. PageRank doesn't just count foot traffic. The correct answer focuses on the network. It ranks pages based on the number and quality of links pointing to them. It's not about raw visitors, it's all about the digital network of trusted connections. And while PageRank is an incredibly powerful foundation, it is definitely not the only thing going on behind the scenes. Search engines use a massive, complex recipe. They're also looking at relevance to your search query, the keywords used, your physical location, the freshness of the content, user behavior, overall page quality, and even how mobile-friendly the site is. PageRank is a vital tool, for sure, but it's really just one piece of a much larger puzzle used to curate the millions of results you see every single day.
Which brings us to our final thought. If your own digital footprint was judged by the company your links keep, how authoritative are you? Think about who connects to you and who you choose to connect to. When you understand the anatomy of a search result, it really changes how you look at the entire internet, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring those connections.